we're going to give you some names of different people, and you just have to let us know whether they're best known for being fast as humans or curious as humans. So look, here we go. Usain Bolt.
Fast.
Yeah, 9.58 seconds he ran the 100 meters. So well done.
Thank you.
Albert Einstein.
Curious.
Yes, that's correct. Albert only ran the 100 meters in 9.87.
Slow.
You're listening to The Occupational Philosophers with Simon Banks and John Rice.
Hello, welcome to The Occupational Philosophers, a not-so-serious business podcast which mashes up curiosity, creativity, imagination with a little bit of philosophy thrown in. All essential elements for a life well lived and good for business too. As ever, I'm joined by my co-host, Simon Banks in Australia. Simon, hello, and what's caught your curious eye this week?
Well, good morning, John. What's caught my curious eye is in the last week, a lady called Iris Apfel has passed away at the age of 102. And I'm not sure if you've heard of her, but she's a creative powerhouse, a designer, a model, a real trailblazer in the world of fashion and business. What I most loved about her, she called herself the world's oldest teenager. And she had this amazing style which she brought to the world, these huge big glasses, this really loud dress sense, loud, I'll say non-boring. What I like about is some of her quotes. Get old, but don't get boring. I really liked. Also, be wild and get comfortable outside of your comfort zone. You can never stop being bold and having fun. And also people would say to, would you like to, freeze time and stay young? And she said, no, absolutely not. It'd be like getting caught in a time warp. She said, I just embrace age as it happens. But look, she's known on Instagram for a really Larry fashion style, but she was an amazing business person as well. And she retired in 1992. She'd run a fashion textiles company with her husband for many, many years. But then aged 91 became Days magazine's oldest cover star. And I think she would have been at around sort of 98, 99. She signed with IMG, which is a modeling agency. So I just love this whole sense of, jumping out into the world, embracing life for what it is, and, just sort of screwing this whole idea of age and all that type of stuff. So and look, check out her Instagram, Iris Apfel. She's got some great reels there where she just shares her views on the world. So that's sad, but also very exciting to celebrate an amazing creative person.
Yeah,
what about you, John?
Inspirational. Well, what's got my eye is again something like that of a person who is inspiring and slightly intimidating in equal measure. I was on to Leonardo da Vinci. And Leonardo da Vinci's to-do list. There were some papers that had been retrieved from his home over time that have been preserved. And here is a typical to-do list that they found. I'm going to read these out, so bear with me. Calculate the measurement of Milan and its suburbs. Discover the measurement of the Corte Vecchio, which is the courtyard of the Duke's Palace. Ask Benedetto Portinari, a Florentine merchant, by what means they go by ice to Flanders. Draw Milan. Examine the crossbow of Maestro Gianetto. Find a master of hydraulics and get him to tell you how to repair a lock, canal and mill in the Lombard manner. And finally, ask about the measurement of the sun, promised me by Maestro Giovanni Francesi. So that was Leonardo's to-do list. And I thought, well, what's on my to-do list? And I've got unblock the gutters, pick up the groceries and defrost the freezer. And I just wondered, am I stretching myself enough?
I would say not, John. I would say not.
I think that's just fantastic. I'm indebted to this book here by a chap called, we'll put it in the show notes, Ian Leslie. It's a book called Curious. It's a fantastic book. I may have mentioned it before, but I was rereading that and was laughing at the fact that Leonardo probably got to that before lunchtime, no doubt, as well.
But can you imagine when he'd be out, he'd have so many questions, be out and about in town, having a few drinks. Oh, Maestro, can we talk about the sun? Oh, come on, Leonardo, just let it lie. Maestro, what about the ice and the lock? Come on, just let it relax. Just relax.
Heads down.
Man. Yeah.
They'd be in the pub, wouldn't they? In the bar, going, quick, heads down, Leonardo's coming.
What about the sun?
Right. We digress too
John,
much.
We have a curious cat on the show this week. As always, delighted to have a guest episode. Who is the curious cat we have on this week?
Well, you better settle in, Simon, because I need to take a few moments and minutes, really, to introduce our guest today, who's a globally renowned behavioural expert, author, speaker and consultant. She's a sought-after expert in curiosity, which is a real connection for us, perception, emotional intelligence and behavioural science. She's a nationally syndicated radio host, a keynote speaker and author of multiple books, including Cracking the Curiosity Code, the key to unlocking human potential. She's the creator of the Curiosity Code Index assessment, which is the first and only assessment that determines the factors that inhibit curiosity, and the Perception Power Index, which determines the factors that impact perception. You still settled down? Do you want a cup of tea yet? I'm going to keep going.
No, you're only a third of the way through, so yeah.
She is a thought. It's too good. It's too good not to share this. She is a thought leader in the fields of leadership, sales, marketing, management, engagement, curiosity, perception and motivation, and is known for increasing engagement, improving productivity, and reducing conflict in the organisation she works with. As a keynote speaker, she shared the stage with top speakers, including Steve Forbes, Marshall Goldsmith, Brené Brown, Martha Stewart, and Daniel Pink. She's been featured on Forbes, INC, Investors Business Daily, Harvard Business Review. I could go on, and I will, as well as broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox. Thinkers50 Radar, considered the Academy Awards for Leadership, chose her as one of the minds in management, top minds in management and leadership. And she's named on the Global Leaders Today list alongside leaders such as Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and Sheryl Sandberg. She is the founder and CEO of consulting firm Tenera and is a former MBA program chair at the Forbes School of Business and Technology. She's a Fulbright specialist, and she continues to serve as faculty for several universities, including Duke Corporate Education. And her experience as part of her consultancy work has led her work with the boards of and top CEOs of Adobe, McDonald's, Yahoo, NASA, Oracle, United Airlines, and other top brands. Please, will you welcome Dr. Diane Hamilton?
Wow. Well, that might be my longest introduction. I saw Simon take a sip of his coffee. He's like, I think I have some time here.
All I can say.
And that's the show. Thank you for joining us.
That's the show.
Today.
Thank you. Yes. Well, we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but.
Well, I did say to Simon that my printer actually ran out of ink when I was.
Well, I know. Hey, one of the good things about getting older is you've done a lot of things, right? You have things to list on your resume.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me here.
I mean, you've cracked the curiosity code, and I did wonder whether you cracked the time-space continuum conundrum as well, because you seem to have put about 3 lifetimes worth of experience and achievements and general amazingness. So, yeah.
Well, it always sounds good. It does sound good when you hear it on paper, but it really is just all kind of tied together. So we're going to explore a lot of that stuff today. I'm really excited to talk to you guys. I love that you add so much unique qualities to the show with the philosophy and the comedy. This is going to be great. I'm excited.
Well, look, to kick this off, and I do think you may be a shapeshifter, given the amount of time you seem to find. What's caught your eye this week? And I might want to follow that up with a bit of Da Vinci. What's on your to-do list?
Well, I love that you added Da Vinci because I'm half Italian, so I hope I'm related to him somewhere.
Most likely.
Yeah.
But what's caught my eye, I've been doing a lot of work while driving, so I've been listening more than reading, and I'm listening to Walter Isaacson's Elon book, and that has been fascinating to me. I love all the things that you love him or hate him, which I find him extremely fascinating. The things he did to get out of status quo thinking is right up what I'm trying to get the alley to be for everybody in the world, to just get out of that. Just, I have to do it this way because it was always done this way. So I'm very interested in finishing that. I'm almost at the end of that book, and that's been really great. But I get down these curiosity holes of knowledge, like getting into Chat GPT or, whatever the latest gadget is, I have to know about it. And so this last week, I guess I did get kind of into Chat GPT 4.0 a little bit longer than I probably should have. But I find that all fascinating because what's it going to do and where can it take you? And so the only way is to jump right in.
Yeah. And the to-do list, and Diane, is there's things outstanding? Did you tick it all off?
Oh, my to-do list, it's not quite as exciting. I mean, it's a little better than cleaning the rain gutters or whatever. It's not quite Da Vinci level. I have about 50 things I want to create with that would go along with my book that I'm working on right now, which is a follow-up to Cracking the Curiosity Code called Curiosity Unleashed. So I'm updating my Curiosity Code Index. I just got off a call right before this about that. I just working with somebody sending me to New York, another one to Dubai. I've got like 50 different things I'm working on in terms of speaking and traveling. So those are kind of the biggest things on my to-do list, which are kind of exciting.
I think maybe you are related to Da Vinci with that. So I think I can already see the linear line. So
I'm sure we could say that.
What can you see out the window? A better question is, where are you in the world today? We've guests from all over the world. And what can you see out your window?
Well, I am in Paradise Valley, Arizona in the U.S., and that's kind of the Scottsdale, Phoenix area for anybody who knows that. And if I look out my window, I can see a lot of palm trees, cactus, sometimes an occasional coyote. But it's very beautiful here. And right now is a great time of year. But it's not so great in
Arizona. What's Arizona famous for?
The Grand Canyon. We have the Grand Canyon. So we have some of the best hiking in the world. Absolutely. If you're into that, which I am, I have a Labrador who you may hear on the show. Who knows? She decides to make an appearance. Her name's Luna. But we hike quite a bit. The Grand Canyon is stunning, though. You cannot capture it in pictures. You have to actually see it to believe it.
Yeah, been there.
Is that true? Did the pictures capture it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Absolutely. Yeah. even with the big lens, you can't even.
No, you can't. You can't.
It's too grand. It's too grand.
Too grand. I actually did a river rafting trip at the bottom of it, and from the bottom up, it looks like everything else. It's not that exciting looking up at it, which was interesting because I hiked out of it. But from the top down, it's just wow.
So this is a sort of quick opening round, really, Diane. It's just a means of getting to know you a little better. And in the true spirit of dinner parties, we wanted to make it a little bit more interesting rather than the usual questions of what do you do and where do you live and things like that. Some of which we've obviously just asked, but we're continuing.
Boring question.
Too late.
We're continuing a slightly more interesting vein. So settle in. The wine has just been served. First course is just going to be brought along in a moment. And as I say hello, Diane, what's giving you joy at the moment?
I have a new grandson, my first grandchild, and his name is Kason, and he's 3 months old, and he's already like 17 pounds. He's huge. And he's adorable. He looks like, everybody's going to think he's really stupid because he looks like he's like 9 months old, but he's only 3 months old. But he's really adorable. And that has been giving me great joy. And business-wise, working on my latest book has given me a lot of joy because it's fun to figure out, you just have all this stuff in your head and you want to get it out. So between playing with the baby and writing my book, those things have been giving me a lot of joy.
And I have to ask, I mean, does having a new baby have you super curious, almost like Baby Lab, where you're looking at how Kason's developing and what he's curious in and what he starts to look at and things like this?
It does. It makes me think about, you see these prodigies and then all these things on Instagram, these little 5-year-olds playing Beethoven, and and I think, what's his skill going to be, and how can you introduce him to so many different things that he'll pick something? You don't know what it's going to be. I mean, he might pick golf, as we were talking about earlier. He might pick, you don't know. So with my kids, I put them in everything, and then if they liked it, we just kept going. And if they didn't, we went a different direction. So I this kid's going to probably be in everything. I'll make sure he gets exposure to a lot of different things.
I'm just worried if you stood there with a clipboard and a white coat.
Everything. No, he doesn't do a whole lot yet. He pretty much just smiles,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, though. Yeah.
Now, next question. I might say outside of work, because I imagine these might sort of blend over. Do you have a hobby you lose yourself in?
I said I hiked, and I do like to hike a lot. We do quite a bit. I have a couple places I go back and forth to California and Arizona and different parts of Arizona. And I love to hike with my dog. So that one's a big one. But I do a lot of geeky kind of stuff too. I mean, I like to bowl. I like to rock climb. I like, but I am a computer type person. I can get lost in Canva or video editing or graphic designs type of things. And so I kind of go all over the board. I try a lot of things. The things I'd like to be good at, not musical wise. I try piano and it's terrible, but I try.
And the bowling, you mean 10-pin bowling? That's
right.
Sport, right. That's
fun. I haven't played it in a while, but that's one thing I love to do. I love games. Anything that's a game, I'm in. It's fun. We play a lot of word games and kind of inappropriate games sometimes. The family stuff is joking. Cards
dinner parties getting a bit looser now. Yeah.
Give them more wine.
Right. Give me some more. I'll tell you everything. But no, it's really fun to play games. We do a lot of fun things when my family gets together. So we're a very loud group. Let's just put it that way. It's not dull.
Is it? And in terms of whether it's just in the world generally or in the work that you're doing right now, who or what inspires you? It's inspiring at the moment.
God, there's so many people who inspire me. One of the people who inspired me, who I love to watch, I love eloquence in delivering of content. And George Carlin totally inspired me. And I recently watched on YouTube, I don't know if you saw this, because George Carlin's estate is suing them for creating a comedy show based on AI wow what he did in the past and created a whole new show of it imitates his voice and it imitates his style. It just took all of his sense of humor and used it towards today's topics that weren't around when he died. And it's pretty good. It was pretty close to what he was like. It was, it was, the voice was off a little bit, but and he wasn't as funny as Carlin, but it was funny and it was pretty well done.
but he's sued them, hasn't he? He's sued.
Well, he's dead, but his family and his estate. Oh, wow. They sued him. I don't know if they're going to win or anything. It's interesting because you can take anybody's voice and recreate it and do all kinds of things, So, they made it very clear it wasn't George Carlin. You knew it wasn't. They said it several times, but they did a whole AI creating all the graphics and all the things around him. It was typical of AI, have this misspellings and things, in the pictures and stuff. But it was really kind of cool to see what they were able to do, and it's kind of interesting to see whose work they're going to be able to do that with, so that's a little bit interesting down the road. But I think people like Carlin inspire me because of the quality of what he could put together and memorize and just interrelate and still be funny at the same time. The things he the length of things he had to memorize amazed me. I can't memorize anything. I was terrible. That's why I was terrible at history, because you had to memorize all the dates, right? So I think that he was inspiring. You know, I had so many people on my show who inspired me, though. You know, I've had everybody on my show from Steve Forbes to billionaires, and I think one person who stands out as I'm thinking about it, a guy named Scott Harrison. I don't know if you saw Charity Water. It's a charity out there where they created a way to give water in Africa to people who. Oh, if you watch the videos, it's just horrifying what these people are drinking with worms and dirt and everything. This guy, he comes on my show, and he was just interesting because he was talking about how he was into drugs. He was just drunk. He didn't do anything, and no one would hire him, and he just became awful. And he just one day woke up and said he was going to fix his life. And he said no one would even hire him to be to do a charity. You know, I mean, he couldn't get anybody to even take him because he was so bad. He finally got on some boat and went to Africa. They finally took him in, and he saw what the conditions were, and his job originally was to get people into bars to, you know, entice them to come in and spend money and drink and whatever. So he used that skill to get people into the charity, and he's built this huge universe based on his skills that he used for bad, and now he uses them for good. And I love that.
That's excellent.
Now, what are you curious about right now, or what big question are you wrestling with?
Well, part of my work for the new book is to demonstrate the relationship between building a culture of curiosity in the workplace and the financial benefit. And what drives me crazy is there's not research out there that you can really find that tells you, if you build curiosity, it'll save you XYZ dollars because it'll reduce, you know, turnover or improve engagement or innovation. So I'm really inspired to do that research. So I'm trying to work with more companies to do that. And I've given away some free things on LinkedIn to companies to show them how to do it. And I think it's going to be something that it will inspire organizations to get more relevant and get people more engaged and innovative. And so that's really what I've been working on to just quantify some stuff, but to make it so it's not so boring for people and they can learn, like, God, this is what I really want to do. And because even if you ask, as we go back to ChatGPT, if you ask, you know, what data is there to support all this stuff, she'll just come back, or he'll come back, whatever it is. We'll say, it's intuitive. Of course it relates, you know, but when you go out to talk to these people about it, they'll say, well, show me the data, but there really isn't any. So that's what I've been gathering. That's what I've been working on. And I hope with my work with Fulbright, I'll go to organizations, maybe universities in different countries and do research. And I'd love to do that.
That's just taking that idea, Diane, that's the similar kind of approach that maybe has been taken where they have connected innovation to key business metrics and KPIs that say business performance has increased tenfold because we can see this innovation hub within the organization directly impacts it. It's so that's a big question to answer, isn't it? Or a big question to explore, because there's so many levers and potential elements that would increase business performance. And
well, there's a couple of ways. What you have to do is you have to get a curiosity level, and then you have to, if they do something like my Curiosity Code Index, they can find out what inhibits them, and then you take training to build up curiosity, and then you take another curiosity level, and then you compare that to engagement or innovation, or, you know, and that it's really simple actually. But I did write about that with the KPIs and all that, you know, because, you know, you got to have the nerdy stuff in there. But it's something that I think a lot of organizations really need to see. And I know some of them are really doing it, but some of them, they're not publishing it necessarily. And so I think that it's been kind of fun working on that.
Last question before we sort of explore your work in a bit more detail. I mean, how would you describe what you do? I know it took 27 minutes to describe what you did.
I know you did.
20 minutes. So,
Wow. Everybody's going to turn off the button if I did that. So here's how I say it. I learn things and I share the things I learn. That's it. I mean, that's basically what I do.
You just could have said that, John, at the beginning.
That's the Venn diagram.
That would have been fun.
Okay, that's the Venn diagram. All right.
Well, John, I'm looking around and everyone's left now. So it's just the three of us here and there's no wine left. So maybe time to call the Uber. So thank you for joining us for our dinner party. Yeah.
So, Diane, The Occupational Philosophers was born of the desire to explore that interplay between curiosity, creativity, and imagination, and then that interest of philosophy being thrown in for some good measure. We'd like to talk now a bit more about then the work that you do and how that maybe plays into those themes. So, I naturally want to discuss the book, Cracking the Curiosity Code, and the Curiosity Code Index itself, which emerged through that research and work. But I am fascinated to know almost where the passions come from, because it's a passion that's been building in me, and I know what was the catalyst for me. I'm wondering what was the catalyst for you. Why did it become the heart of the work that you're now doing?
I just had interviewed so many people on my show who were so interesting and curious. And then I'd go back to class and my students would kind of want me to give them the fish instead of teach them to fish. And I started to see that there was this disconnect why were these people super curious and why weren't these people? And I thought, I'm going to write about curiosity. I'll write a book. I'd written several books before about personality assessments and things since I'd written my dissertation on emotional intelligence. So I kind of was a soft skills person anyway. And I thought, well, this is fascinating. And as I wrote the book, I realized that there was no way to improve this if you had a problem with curiosity. You had to figure out what it was that stopped it. And there wasn't anybody assessing that. So as I started to write the book, I realized I had to create my assessment at the same time because I wanted to discover what it stops us so that we can move forward. So my aha moment was probably because of interviewing so many interesting people and seeing how curious they were and hoping to instill that curiosity in other people.
And how did that come about? How did that opportunity did you just say, I'm going to go out and talk to leaders? How did you set up? You've been going for 700 shows. How did that kind of get momentum?
Just kudos there as well. 700 shows.
You guys trying to get my secrets or what?
A little bit. Yeah.
Well,
we did one and we're like, woo, clapped ourselves.
A little bit. That's right. Well, when I was the MBA program chair at Forbes School of Business when I left, and I had just come off of helping with their speaker series and introducing a lot of the famous speakers like billionaire Ken Fisher, Steve Forbes, or, just big names. And so I had interviewed Ken, and he was so fascinating. And actually, it's the first interview I'd ever done was with the billionaire. I went right big in, and the very first speech I ever gave was with Forbes. When I do something the first time, they throw me in with the sharks. But it was so interesting that I thought, well, I'm going to just create a show and see what that's like, because I thought somebody had interviewed me to get some more content for my website so I could do more speaking. And he had a regular show, a nationally syndicated radio show. And I asked him how he did it. He told me there was an opening. Do you want to do it? I go, sure, I'll try it. They said, you just got to have all the things ready in 2 weeks. And I had to do all my own stuff, all my own editing, all my own everything, and have the guests. And so I went to the Forbes 30 Under 30s for my guests initially because I had met them in the speaker series at the school. And once you have Steve Forbes and a bunch of people with, have done some pretty interesting things, you just ask people and they start saying yes. So I interviewed thousands. I mean, there was like 700 and something shows, but most of them had 2 people on them, and not all of them are still published and stuff. So it was really fascinating.
And I like that moment you said, I just asked. So how do you do this show? And I guess we talk around curiosity. Opportunity comes from curiosity. Like you just ask a question, all of a sudden, because you could have easily gone, okay, that's interesting. I'll go back and think about this, and maybe in 2 years' time I'll be ready. But do you think curiosity drives opportunity?
I think curiosity drives everything. I think it's the spark to everything that everybody's trying to fix. It's the spark to motivation, innovation, engagement, you name it. And so that's the problem. I liken it to baking a cake. If you bake a cake and you don't turn on the oven, you put all the ingredients in the pan, you put it in the oven, you're not ending up with cake, right? And then that's what's happening in the workplace. We have all these ingredients of engagement and motivation, all these things, but nobody's lighting that spark of curiosity. The oven's not getting lit, and you're not getting your cake of money, productivity, all that. So yes, I think curiosity comes first before just about everything.
Now, John, I heard you say before there was a moment where your curiosity sparked and that has led you on your path. What was that?
Well, I think it was just the work I was doing in the realms of consultancy and facilitation and coaching, working with teams, leadership teams. I was constantly surprised by the incuriosity sometimes that I would observe in teams and that's why it was the empathic curiosity. There was a lack of interest sometimes in each other and what they brought to that team and where they could contribute and have an impact. And similarly, they seemed to stifle that sort of epistemic curiosity as well, and that search for knowledge and then thoughts as to how they can innovate and change status quo thinking. And it always just seemed to be absent. And I just thought, why? Why is it absent? Because it clearly is the thing that's going to your point, Diane, ignite things. And it was too often absent. And I thought, there's something in this that we need to explore. And that's when I then got together with Simon, because he's the creativity guru, and we thought there's a Venn diagram.
Mashed up. Well, you know when mine started, and I often, because I think about this, I get asked a little bit. I won a national designer stamp competition when I was about 7 or 8 with Australia Post, and I took a picture of a koala in a tree. And I often think that was the moment. I got, called up to the front of school. When I grew up in Tasmania, which is a little island at the bottom of Australia, it's like, a man and his dog. If you see them, it's a crowded day. So there's not much going on back then. And I think that was maybe that spark that made me more curious about the world, because then I used to really study things, want to draw them, and what does that look like? And, it's made me to carrying a man bag for most of my life, because I got my pencil and pens, and I've got like a camera and all these different things. Well, what if I see something and I have to interact with it? So, that's why I always think that was
the man bag's not for your creativity, Simon. That's a fashion statement, and it's we know
it's a cool man bag. It's
a
Peruvian man bag, so it's got some cool beads and things hanging off it. So anyway, we digress.
Hey, Diane, this is now time for a thought experiment, which, as you know, is something that all philosophers did through the aeons of time, expand their minds and thinkings by contemplating really thorny problems and moral issues and ethical issues. However, our thought experiment is slightly different, because we recognise you're an expert on curiosity and have indeed cracked the curiosity code. So with that in mind, we want to further test your cryptography code cracking skills in this thought experiment called Code Breaker. Simon, take it away.
Okay.
So we're going to give you some codes now, and let's see how many you can crack. Now, the first theme is on US presidents who, as you may know, all had code names used by the US Security Service. So the first code name is Renegade. What president was this?
Oh, do you remember one of the first things I told you is my worst topic was history? You jumped to my absolute... I bet I'll miss all of these, but okay, Renegade. I don't know. FDR.
No, Obama, President Obama.
Oh, okay.
Okay, John, next.
Next one is...
Steer clear of history, please. But go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry.
Movies, 400, Alex.
Apologies for what's coming.
So you're
going to take back every nice thing you ever said about my intelligence if you get into historical questions. But go ahead.
We thought you were a code breaker.
We'll just have to update your CV, Diane.
I try.
Right. Next one. Let's get through. So you can just take random guesses now, Diane. So Searchlight.
It's going to be.
Searchlight. Have a guess. First one out. Okay. Searchlight. Yeah, who do you reckon?
Oh, these are all presidents? Oh.
Yeah, we'll just go on.
Okay. Searchlight. Hoover.
No.
Okay.
Kennedy.
No.
I have no idea.
Nixon. That was Nixon.
Nixon.
I tell you what.
I'm telling you, I'm not political. You guys are killing me here. Go ahead.
We'll just do one more. Okay. You might get this one. I like this one. Tumblr.
Tumblr. Well, that might have been Ford. He fell over a lot.
Well,
I did think the same thing actually, but no, it's
maybe more a metaphorical tumble.
Go on, Simon.
I'm 0 for 3.
This is George W. Bush.
George W. Bush.
Tumblr.
Let's change tack then, Diane. So second theme is around code phrases. So code phrases. You can do this. You can cover here. Right. The first code phrase is "the eagle has landed." Who used that code and in what context?
Isn't that when Air Force One lands? Don't they say that? No.
Oh.
Yes.
Do they? Maybe.
Yes.
No. It's not on my list.
It's wrong there. It's not on your list, John. It's not right.
It's not right. What is right?
It was the NASA code. It was popularized by NASA when Apollo 11 landed. And
that's right. I actually saw that live as a child, believe it or not. But you're right. You're right. I should have gotten that one. That one I should have gotten. The other 3, forget it all. I mean,
all right. Next.
Okay, that was a real bad one to miss. Go ahead.
We know a musician in Paris.
Absolutely have no idea.
It's a I think you need to give some context here, Simon.
Trick questions. Okay, I'm going to get some questions.
Oh, okay, all right. So we know a musician in Paris. This is a spy agency code.
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
The CIA? I don't know. What is a spy agency code?
I
don't know. I have no idea.
Go on, Simon.
Are you guys spies trying to get me to tell you secrets here? I'm not sure.
No. Well, no. So we're not that clever. I can assure you. We're definitely not that clever. No, this is if you have a clandestine radio operator. The spy agency code is we have a.
I love this. I'm learning new things.
There you go. There you go.
John.
Oh, no.
John.
Shall I do that one or shall I move to the next thing?
No, do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So this one's this is Australian. This one.
Oh.
My kangaroos have fallen in the billabong.
My kangaroo.
Let me put you out of your misery.
I don't have any clue. I've never. What is it?
It's Australian. It means my kangaroos are falling in the billabong. They couldn't think of a code. They just say it as it is.
It just actually means that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's literal.
Mine fell in the billabong yesterday. They're still there. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
This is great. All right. Well,
we're not very clever. So.
You guys.
Right.
I feel.
I'm determined. I'm determined you're going to get a point here, Diane. Right. So the last thing.
Can we go Hollywood? Something.
You're going to get this. Well, this is kind of Hollywood. The final theme is famous codes. Okay. Right.
Okay.
This infamous German coding device looked like a typewriter, but hidden inside was a complex cryptographic system with rotors and gears, yet devised.
Morse code.
It wasn't Morse. It was immortalized in a film. These are good ones, actually. The
Enigma.
Enigma, yes. Yes, the Enigma guy.
That was giving help. That doesn't count.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
Right.
I think this is the last one, Simon. Do the final one.
You guys these are tough. And I play Jeopardy. Go ahead.
A very successful. You're
going to get this, Dan.
Book and film starring Tom Hanks, which had him play renowned symbologist Robert Langdon. What code is
that was not the demon, the first one, the Da Vinci Code. We're back to Da Vinci.
We're back. All right, we're back.
Now there we go. Okay, how about what's the meaning of the universe from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? What's the answer, boys? Come on.
42. Right.
There you go. He's got the answer. Now you got to figure out what the question really asks.
Yeah.
And that thought experiment was called Codebreaker. Now, your code has got an index which provides a baseline for people's propensity towards being curious and then helps them with what might be holding them back. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Is it a psychometric test, and also what are some of the questions? I'm really curious around, and then because I guess that shows people like, okay, how does it work?
Well, it's an easy test. It's only 10 minutes if you took it, 5 probably. It's very simple. It's like if you've taken a Myers-Briggs or a emotional intelligence or even engagement survey, it's not that different from something like that if you're used to taking it. It's called the Curiosity Code Index, or CCI. And what it does is it doesn't tell you your level of curiosity. What it tells you is how much certain factors are inhibiting your curiosity. So the 4 factors are fear, assumptions, technology, and environment, which the acronym is FATE. And so fear basically are things like, I'm afraid to ask, why am I afraid to ask questions in meetings? And have I not asked something that I thought I normally wanted to know, but I've leaned to somebody next to me and said, hey, why don't you ask this? I don't want to look stupid. You might as well look stupid, right? So we've all been there. There's a lot of sub-factors under fear. And so we go into each of those. And then assumptions is really that voice in your head telling you, if I ask this question, I'm going to end up with more work, or I'm not qualified for this. It's just too hard, or whatever the things is that we tell ourselves. And so the questions ask about those kinds of ways of how we think. And then technology is over and under utilization of it. And, you might be, Einstein, but I throw you a calculator and don't tell you how it works. And you might be the greatest calculator worker ever, but you would have been Einstein if I had just taught you the math behind it, right? So we need to have both the great calculator workers and the people who know how to put together the calculators. And we need to have both of these qualities within ourselves. And then environment is really everybody with whom we've ever had contact. So my interactions with you, my interactions with my family, my coworkers, my teachers, everybody you've ever known, even social media. So you don't know if the teachers were teaching to the test. They didn't have time to answer your questions. You don't know if your parents said everybody in our family has to be a lawyer. All those things, they impact which direction you go. And so the CCI, it was a 36-page report, but it's like 66 pages now. I'm updating it as I'm updating with my new book that's coming out. So this summer, there'll be a new book and an updated CCI. It's going to be even better.
It's a self-assessment, Diane.
It's a self-assessment.
You don't get feedback from others going, John, you never ask any questions in meetings.
It's not 360 now.
Which is something of my world. Of my world, is that?
Yes, okay. Yes.
Is that, and of course this is woven in as you were putting the book together, isn't it? The Cracking the Curiosity Code, as you said, that you realised then the index was going to be an important part of that work. Uh-huh. Just with that FATE acronym and with those elements interplaying with each other in an organisation. I mean, what would a highly curious organisation actually look like day to day if they were then tackling this and working through those inhibitors?
Well, I've worked with a lot of organizations who have really done some amazing things, whether it's Novartis or Verizon. I don't know which ones you guys have outside of the United States, but Verizon's a big phone carrier here. And Novartis is a big pharmaceutical company worldwide. And LinkedIn, I've worked with a bunch of these groups. I think Novartis is a good one to look at because they've created such a culture of curiosity where they have Curiosity Month. They pay for speakers and different people to come in. I was one of like hundreds of people, I believe, that came in the month of September. Every year they do that. All year round, they have 100 hours they pay for credit for people to take any kind of courses or things that they want to learn. They have their employees teach little TED Talks. Instead of hiring people like us to come in, they actually have their employees share knowledge, which is really cool because to learn something, you teach it, you learn it better than any other time, and then everybody else learns something. So there was so much that they did. But with Verizon, they sent me to New York, and I created these little onboarding videos that I would talk for just a couple minutes about the value of curiosity and some of this fake, type of thing. And then they would have employees who were really successful due to their curiosity share how their curiosity made them successful. And so we'd create like these 5-6 minute videos, and they'd run them all throughout their stores and in their onboarding sessions for new employees. And so they'd create this culture of what they'd expect for people to be. So they emulated what they wanted to see in other people. And that was the biggest thing. That's what you really need to see in organizations who want to have a curious culture, because I mean, HBR, Harvard Business Review, had this, studies and stuff they posted about how leaders think that they're encouraging curiosity, but if you ask their employees, they're like, well, maybe not so much, right? So we have to really recognize that we have to walk the walk and emulate what we want to see.
It's the same with the World Economic Forum. Every 4 years, they bring out their Future of Work report, or maybe every 2 years. And always the top of the list is, creativity is up there, and that's what leaders want. But again, the studies show, if you ask people in the organization, does that what leaders show they want? Absolutely not. Like that's it's stifled completely. So is there a bit of a disconnect between what we think we need and how we might bring it into the organization, and how might organizations bridge that gap?
Well, first of all, it's really interesting because curiosity and creativity have a lot of similarities in terms of they peak around age 5 or 6 and then they tank. We get this disconnect in terms of what happens. And I think a lot of it, we're educating ourselves out of some of our competencies in our education system, and there's a lot of things that we don't recognize what we're doing by some of the things we're saying and some of the things that we're doing in the workplace. So that's why I think my work was so focused on showing you this is what's stopping you. Because how are you supposed to improve if you give you a curiosity test, they go, oh, you're not very curious. Okay, thank you very much. Well, that's great if you're going to follow up to see if I've gotten better and done things in the middle. But if they're not telling you what's stopping you, there's nothing for you to know what to fix, right? So I think that is really important, because curiosity leads to creativity and all the other things. And to know what's stopping it, you have to work on an action plan, kind of do a personal kind of SWOT analysis of these things that are holding us back. And I think people get this real aha moment when they realize, I never really thought about that, because you sometimes don't know what you don't know until it's like right in front of you, even though it's a self-assessment. Then you go, oh, maybe that was it, right? And so the leaders need to do the same kind of assessing, so that they're recognizing that what they're saying, they're not emulating what they really want to see. And that's why the HBR articles and things like that are very important to let leaders know that you think you're doing these great things, but you're really not. And some of those reports are pointing that out as well.
And on that curiosity, creativity piece, I always find curiosity is an easier sell, if that makes sense. Like you talk around this need to be creative, and it's such a loaded term for, I would say, 95% of people, because of something which hasn't worked out perfectly in their early artistic endeavors. But curiosity seems to be that, I can feel a bit more comfortable around that, even though they're inextricably linked. Does that sort of match your thinking in organizations?
Well, a lot of people ask me what I mean by curiosity, I think.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if I would define it exactly as I would have when I wrote the book the first time. I think I was looking into just exploration and learning new things at the beginning. But what I found out in the workplace, what it really boils down to is one thing, and that's getting out of status quo thinking. It's getting out of thinking what worked for you in the past is not going to make you a success in the future. If you rely on that, you end up being, the companies like Kodak and now where are they, right? And that's the real value of recognizing. There's not really a word I could use. So curiosity was the closest of what I'm trying to say, but it's basically that. I want to get everybody out of status quo.
Just building on that, and I think we touched on it earlier. So there's that desire to build that curiosity muscle in organizations. And we've talked about then empathic curiosity as well, the desire, the ability to know others as well. Mm-hmm. Does the ability for organizations and teams and individuals to develop the curiosity muscle, do you need to have empathy first almost? Does that need to be in place, or for the organization to then feel free and liberated and safe to then be curious, etc.? I've asked that question in a horrible way.
I know what you're asking.
I'm not even sure what you've asked. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Let me answer it and tell me
Diane will work it out.
I'll work it out, because I really think curiosity actually leads to empathy. And empathy, the ability to me to understand your feelings is, there's empathy, and then there's understanding your perspective, and there's all these different vantage points and things but the empathy is more the emotions part of it all, right? Mm-hmm. And so to develop that, I have to ask questions of you to understand what you're feeling, to understand your vantage point, to understand all these issues. Yeah. And if you don't have that on a team, people often will call me and say, listen to this, listen to what she said. And then they'll read me the email in the most snarky tone ever, And I don't know this person, so I would never have read it in a snarky tone. I would have just read it. It sounded fine, right? And so you get that on teams where people get used to each other's past behaviors and they just make assumptions. We're back to assumptions that these people really have this out for them or that out for them. And it's never really what they think. And I have a friend who always jumps to zebras when she hears hoof prints. And I've talked to her about this a lot. I said, why would you immediately assume that, and it's about getting this empathy is a big part of emotional intelligence. And as I wrote my dissertation on emotional intelligence, and I've had Daniel Goleman on my show and people who've made it very popular, it's so important, but people don't really recognize all the aspects of it. And it's really understanding your own emotions and understanding people's emotions. And empathy is so huge. Like if you're in sales, I give mortifying stories of what things I've done in sales when I talk to sales groups. I mean, terrible for lack of empathy when I was young. I would go in and just sell the guy. I never ask him any questions. You know what I mean? It was just terrible. And I would think I did the greatest things, and then you find out later the guy, you find out these horrible realizations that you really did the worst sales presentations. And I think you just experience shows you so much of how important empathy is. And so I think a lot of people could develop that better if they developed their curiosity. Did I answer your question? Because it was a weird question.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we're going to give you some names of different people, and you just have to let us know whether they're best known for being fast as humans or curious as humans. So look, here we go. Usain Bolt.
Fast.
Yeah, 9.58 seconds he ran the 100 meters. So well done.
Thank you.
Albert Einstein.
Curious.
Yes, that's correct. Albert only ran the 100 meters in 9.87. So
quite slow. All right, now, next one, Peter Higgs.
Fast. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Curious. Higgs boson, sorry.
Yeah, curious. He's a British theoretical physicist, emeritus professor at the University of Edinburgh, and Nobel Prize laureate for his work on the mass of subatomic particles.
Right. I'm good on that. Good. Science is way better than history, boys. Okay, go ahead.
3 out of 3. Here we go. This is a mix of science and history, I'm afraid.
Uh-oh.
Come on. You can do this, though. Thomas Patton Stafford. I'll give you another clue. He was a commander, Thomas Patton Stafford, and he was.
Yeah, you got to go with curious, I guess.
It could be.
Yes, because
that one I don't know.
He was on the command module of Apollo 10, and he travelled at 39,937 kilometers per hour.
That was a trick question.
It was.
We'll take both for that. Okay, Marie Curie.
I think. Okay. Oh, well, she's definitely curious. You're definitely curious.
But unfortunately, her curiosity did
kill the cat on that one.
Possibly half cat as well. So.
Can I say, Diane? I said I was talking to you today, and my daughter said, can you ask my question, Dad? And I said, what's that? And she goes, does curiosity only kill cats?
I get that one an awful lot, but there's all the different sayings, but it brought it back and all the different things. No, it did not kill the cat. It didn't kill anything. It brought everything back.
Definitely good for humans. All right, John.
Yeah. I might just do this last one, shall I? Or should we do both of these? Here we go. Felix Baumgartner.
Go fast.
He is fast. He jumped from the edge of space into the Guinness World Records, and he broke the record for the fastest speed in free fall. He fell to Earth at a speed of 1,357 kilometers an hour. And if you haven't seen the video, I urge you to watch it. It is
Felix,
stunning.
What's his last name?
Baumgartner, Baumgartner, Baumgartner. And it's,
I'm looking that up.
It's an incredible video. I think this is about 8 years ago, but it's just stunning.
Right. Jane Goodall.
Well, she was with the monkeys, right? So let me the apes. I would say curious.
Absolutely. Female British anthropologist, primatologist, and scientist who discovered the fact that, chimpanzees make and use tools, and also blew the myth that they were vegetarians. They go and hunt for meat. Now, my last one. My 12-year-old daughter is fast or curious?
Well, she made it past 6, so she's declining in curiosity. So I'm going with fast.
You're almost right. She's fast and furious because she is, I've noticed since she's started high school, she's incredibly fast to get furious about everything. So
wait till she's 15, it gets worse.
You did very well. So much better than our earlier.
Much better than history. Yes, thank you.
And that was the fast and the curious. Now it's time for let's call it our not so serious business podcast advice time. And we like to look through the lens of, say, individuals or solopreneurs, teams and leaders. So first question, can you offer maybe a few tips as you're an individual or a solopreneur, or individual in an organization or solopreneur, which can help us overcome our fate inhibitors to curiosity? What are some things we could do on an individual level?
Well, the first thing, of course, is to take the assessment to find out what's holding you back. But I really think having a mentor help you. I think mentorship is something that so many people forget to do. And if you're the smartest person, that's the biggest mistake you can make. You want to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you are. That's why I'm in this room, so you guys could educate me, especially in history.
Too kind.
And you want to make sure, because you don't really know what you don't know until you get around people and they share different insights. Have more than one mentor. I used to ride in the field with different people to see how they did things, because if you just get one person's perspective, you may not like the way they do it, and it may not fit your unique ways that you would like to do it. So see how people are doing what you're doing, but don't just look at one person. Get several different perspectives. And let me make sure I got the whole question. Is that everything?
No, that's perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Moving to thinking about teams, Diane. I mean, what can teams do? And again, maybe this is part fueled by my experience with teams, is what can they do to collectively enhance their curiosity as a team and then by extension tap into their creativity?
I think that there's a lot of team activities that I think just team building in general. We used to do a lot of game playing. We would play like Jeopardy or Family Feud was a good one. When you get teams together, and like when Ford, we had to sell a product, we would have questions that would help us learn the product. And you would have to work together as a team to answer them quickly before the other group of salespeople did it. There's a lot of different fun things you can do to help you build your curiosity. I think setting case studies and things like that are more boring, but you really learn a lot if you see what other companies have done and not done well. Or I think you have to look at the ones who have done well and the ones who haven't done well to get a really good idea of what works. But I think team building, to build that curiosity, trust, and that psychological safety so that you don't fear asking questions, that's the first thing. I think doing something fun where you guys break down that wall at the beginning is really critical.
And that's a lot of that. Sorry, I was going to say a lot of that work popularized with Amy Edmondson,
right?
Diane, who you've spoken to as well, haven't you?
Yeah, she's been on my show, and we both are in Thinkers50 group. I just saw her actually, and she just won the Thinker of the Year for Thinkers50. Yeah. So she's really, really insightful, and it's very important, because if you can get that psychological safety, it helps overcome that fear factor, which it ties really well into my work in curiosity.
And I think we could also have a game, who hasn't been on your show. So I know 700 people.
I might be able to get that quiz right. Maybe.
Now, thinking through a leadership lens, how can leaders ensure their organizations don't meet the same fate as companies maybe like Kodak, BlackBerry, or Blockbuster? And hopefully you can see what we did there.
Yeah, I did see what you did there. I like that.
Well, you didn't look that impressed.
That fate. I like that. Actually, I think a lot of it is to get over the thinking that you can rely on what worked for yourself, your company in the past. I think that's the number one thing that a lot of leaders and organizations think, oh, this was the best. We're going to keep doing that because look how great that worked. But then your competitors start utilizing ChatGPT or whatever the new thing is out there, and they're ahead of you, and you're still using the old technology, or you're still using the old processes. And that's what happened to Kodak. I mean, they didn't want to cannibalize their pictures, so they didn't go with digital, and look what happened. So you have to think about what worked in the past and go, okay, we know that worked, but we can't rely on that. We have to see what other potentials and see what other options there are. And to do that, you have to really get outside your comfort zone and ask the tough questions. Why not? What happens if? What if we do this? And I think that there's a lot of different tools out there like Pickbox and different free open source codes that can help you be more innovative. And I think a lot of leaders can rely on those tools.
Now we're going to go into our sort of fast and challenging wrap up. We call our sort of little rapid fire round.
More history? I hope so.
No. We've pulled out great moments in history. I mean, we put a lot of effort into it, but obviously it's not your thing. So we've there goes 2 hours of prep. But,
for 100, Alex. Okay.
What's one thing you couldn't do without in your life right at this moment?
Well, my kids and grandchildren, of course. My Labrador is pretty high on the list, but my husband will say, wait a minute, why wasn't I in the top 2? No, they're all family, I would say, would be number 1. But is that a fair answer?
It's your answer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. If you're listening, you'll be back up the top of the list soon. Keep working at it. Breakfast in bed, minimum.
He's up there. I say family. It's an overall thing.
Okay. Maybe one day, husband, you can make number 3.
You're sounding
I'm
like
the dog. Yeah.
It's a pretty cute dog. You haven't seen her yet.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Diane, we are building the Occupational Philosopher's Manifesto. What one thing of all your learning do you think we should include?
Manifesto okay. So something I've created, or do you want me to quote Nietzsche or?
Whatever. Just something that is a real aphorism for you. Just something of all your learning. Okay.
To me, it's basically, if you think about it, Nietzsche and those philosophers that dealt with, Socrates, what the question is, and Nietzsche getting out of status quo thinking, and even the Hitchhiker's Guide, the Douglas Adams of, the meaning of life is 42. Just if you look at some of these people who have questioned things that make you even want to know what the question means. I love that. I think you need to include recognizing you don't know what you don't know. And so many people don't recognize that. They they think that everything is what they've been taught in this one little box. And I think to really, really grow and be more of what you can really be, you have to recognize that you have to ask questions to find out those things that you don't even know you should be asking.
And so that would be recognize you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
All right, because we put this on our website next to your picture. We've got a little tree which grows. I'm just trying to summarize that into something.
Okay. If I got to put a quick little thing, you got to get out of status quo thinking by asking questions, and that involves recognizing you don't know what you don't know. So you have to explore unusual areas. I don't know.
Not sure if it's shortened.
That was not shorter. Okay, I'll give you the really long version now. No.
It's like you ask a philosopher.
This show's going to be, hey, we're going to be here tomorrow, so we'll just keep going, you know? We could be here all day to try to get me to answer a question correct about history and politics. So.
All right, we've noted that next time, no history, no politics. All right, you can, okay. Right, now, what outside of your own books, what book should we be reading right now?
I definitely like the Elon Musk book, but I would say for curiosity, David Epstein wrote Range. I don't know if you've read Range, but I love that book because it was about how just broader experiences can lead to innovation and problem solving. And if you're a ballerina, maybe learn hockey too, or whatever. You just don't be so narrowly focused. And I thought it was a really good book.
That's great. That's on my list. Final question, Diane. So let's imagine again far into the future, and you're being guided into your retirement home. It's a lovely place. It's got a golf course at the back, and it's, places to walk the Labrador, and the nurses. The nurse is guiding you into the lounge, the residential lounge, and all the other residents are there in this care home. And she says, "Hey, everybody, here's Diane. How would you like to be introduced?"
She's a real history buff, and she's here.
We've hit a nerve, John.
No, it's funny. We're rolling out the red carpet because she's cracked the code. She's figured out the meaning of life. She knows what 42 means. Diane's finally unpacked the mystery of life. That's what I think she should do. I don't know.
Right.
Like that?
That works. I like that. She's cracked the meaning of life. So I can run with that. Yeah.
That will definitely make them sit up in their seats. Go, what? We got more time? We've got more time, did you say?
Now, what are you up to next? And there's a lot going on. So let's say in the next 6 months, what are some cool things happening?
Well, after I take a history refresher course, I am going to finish my book on curiosity. It'll be titled tentatively Curiosity Unleashed. And I'm hoping that'll be out summer of 24. And that will also come with an updated, better, improved version of the Curiosity Code Index. So I'm working on that. And I'm on a lot of boards and working on a lot of things with the boards out of Purdue and, Ford School and things like that. But they're all keeping me busy.
And if people want to connect with you, Diane, where can we best find you? Is it websites, is it LinkedIn? What's the best way to connect and buy you drinks, virtual drinks or whatever?
Well, feel free. I am at LinkedIn. You can look for me. If you connect with me through LinkedIn, please tell me you heard me on the show because I have a lot of followers and sometimes I don't always accept them, but I don't know where they come from. But my website is drdianehamilton.com. It's just DR for doctor, all one word. And I'm at Dr. Diane Hamilton on all the different social media sites. And you can just get to the curiosity information directly at curiositycode.com, but you can get there at drdianehamilton.com as well.
Well, Diane, it's been an absolute pleasure. And as always, we say this every time we have a guest on. I sort of need to look at my own life and how little I have achieved. But really, that's been reinforced dramatically today. So you've got so many wonderful things. So maybe the next, if we ever, I need to say, well, how do you fit all of this in? But that's another conversation. But look, thanks so much. We really, really, really enjoyed having you on the show. And it fits so nicely in the things that John and I are passionate about, that world of curiosity and just how that can drive not only an interesting business life, but also a great life as well. And I think you're a real, you shine the light on that so beautifully, and a great example of that as well.
Oh, well, thank you. You guys have such a fun show. I really had a good time, and I love how curious you are. And this has inspired me to go back and take some training and learn a little more about our
history lessons. Yeah, nothing else. So, yeah.
No, this was great. I really loved it.
History test to be scheduled for September 24th, so it gives you a bit of time. Okay.
Well, next time you're going to do sports analogies and kill me again. So those will be my two favorite. I'm bad at both of those.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Diane. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we really appreciate taking the time.
Thanks.
What a great show. What an awesome guest, John. And as we always say, makes us reflect heartily on our own lives. How the hell do you get that much stuff in? Like,
yeah, there's something going on. I haven't worked out, but that surely is someone who has found 27 hours in a day somehow.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a reboot of my book at the moment to just sort of update it, which is always in the plans. And I'm just thinking, where do I fit this into the day? Like, so I need to connect with Diane, because she's got some cool stuff going on. Now, as always, we like just at the end of the show sort of think, well, what are some of the things which jumped out of the show? What about you? What are some things which you jumped out and caught your attention, curiosity?
Well, I was really interested in the fact that Diane had that nice link between curiosity, epistemic as we might call it, that deep curiosity married with the empathic curiosity. And just the way she just said, look, fundamentally, curiosity is at the heart of it, because the curiosity leads to empathy, that understanding of others, because you ask questions, you get their perspective, you set aside assumptions, and then you can be curious together. So it is a precursor that, you need to be curious to build empathy, which then allows you to feel trust and safety to then explore together and be curious together. So curiosity leads to empathy, which I kind of knew, but it was nice just to hear it so succinctly positioned by Diane. I think the other thing as well is I didn't expect on the tips as individuals where she just said, look, get a baseline, the curiosity code index, what is it for you that you need to focus on that might be sort of holding you back. But then that piece around mentorship and just, reaching out and finding people who are smarter than you or can give you multiple perspectives and maybe feed your curiosity by having you say, oh, well, I hadn't quite looked at it that way before, because these people have different knowledge, experience and skills to you. So that idea of finding mentors as a means to sort of spark your own curiosity, I thought was quite useful. And also, finally, I was going to say finally, and have to recognise a big takeaway was that Diane's a history buff.
Yeah, absolutely. That shone through. Shone through. So, as I said, it's disappointing we had to cancel our other thought experiment. It was great moments from history, but what do you do? It's a lot of work. But what do you do, John? You just take that. Now, I really like this idea of status quo thinking. Like, I think it's something that people would relate to really well. And I'm going to use that next week when I'm literally talking around this whole sort of space. So how do that idea of status quo thinking, just because you've done it before doesn't mean that it will work now. I think it's also interesting when people go, well, where's the case studies? Like, where's the case studies for ChatGPT? Like, people have just started using it. They weren't waiting for the case studies, start sort of experimenting and working with it. I like her acronym. So FATE, Fear, Assumption, Technology, Environment. A couple of things there, just that whole piece around psychological safety, or I've often talked around that piece around creative confidence. So how do we create that environment? And just stop making so many assumptions. We assume so much. So I really like that one. And just her point on just feeding your curiosity, like goes to the mentorship as well. So just do things which will feed that curiosity. And what I liked right at the beginning, she said about the syndicated radio show. She just asked, well, how does that work? And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden an opportunity arose. So I think curiosity seekers have opportunities come to them. So that brings us to the end of a great show. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. And look, as always, if you're listening, things which really help us, leave a subscription. Doesn't work. Leave a review. And these actually do happen. I know someone's been listening to this. Easier said than done, but jump on, just write a quick review because it's really good for the algorithms and different things, and more people can find about the show. Hit the little subscribe button up in your podcast feed so we jump into your podcasts every time a show comes out. And tell your friends.
And also check out the website, occupationalphilosophers.com. Get in touch, which you can do through there. Some people do that to let us know if they've got ideas for shows or topics they'd like us to explore. So that's all very gratefully received.
Unless it's not nice feedback, which we get a little bit of that, and we just put that straight in junk mail. So, but John, as always, to wrap up the show.
In the meantime, stay curious, make stuff, have fun, play more, but most importantly,
especially all of this year, go out and date life.